Hello, and welcome to Tinker, Tailor, Solder, Knife, the Let's Knife program here on the Loading Ready Knife Video Entertainment Network. My name is Ian Horner.
I'm Brendan Knife Deary. I brought all my knives today.
You did bring all of your knives.
But what are you doing?
Are all of your knives dull?
Yes!
It's been a long time since you've sharpened them.
Any knife. In fact, I've never sharpened any of my knives.
You know, I thought this may have been a short segment for you.
No.
This is going to take the
All
whole
3
time because
hours.
you are going to need to really just redo every one of these knives.
Yes.
Wow. Yeah, so that's your job for the night.
Yep.
I bet the sound of it's going to be great on this.
Well, that's good because I've got a couple of projects on the go here today. Thankfully, you may old viewers may remember this Xbox One controller that was sent in.
I remember.
I will be Pepperidge Beach remembers. I just got my sticks in the other day from eBay.
Excitement.
Yeah, and they came with their own little nubbin tops too. So I'm going to keep the old nubbins that came with the 360, but I took the ones that came with these little adapters and put them in my own PS4, which had the rubber wear out on them. I really actually prefer the Xbox 3 or One controller tops because they've got that nice ridging around the edge.
Oh, hey, yeah.
And
cool.
they're completely compatible. So if you're looking for a project to do at home, that's a thing you can do. Why do I have the PS4 controller? Well, that's because this just straight up doesn't work. For some reason, it stopped USB charging here, and we're just gonna crack it open and have a look and see if we can find out why it's not working.
Oh, so it's controller doctor tonight.
Yeah, and then if that's not gonna take the whole time, then we're gonna pull out this thing, which Graham found lying on the sidewalk.
Ooh, made by Magnus.
This is one of the third-party PS4 controllers. Never really took off.
Miracle home piano system.
And yeah, this we're gonna see if we can make this make the sounds it's supposed to make, and if not, maybe we'll do some circuit bending.
Make it make any sounds.
Yes.
Yeah.
It needs to make a sound. It'll make a sound by the time the night is through.
I like that it has...
That sound might be...
It has your choice of 6 major chords you can play.
Yes.
Yes.
Including B flat.
So it's only in one key.
My favorite. Yeah, so let's get right started here. I mean, this is practically disabled.
So this is an Ethernet port on the end, which is rad.
Oh, does it?
Well,
That's actually for, I believe.
one of the sticks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You want to use the.
So let's explain what this is first, because Ian's going to talk about his stuff in detail, and I'm just going to scrape knives across shit.
Is this a smart sharpening stone?
Kind of, in a way, yeah. Except it doesn't actually have an Ethernet port. This is the Spyderco Sharp Maker. This is not mine. Ian owns this. He lent it to me once for 6 months, and I never sharpened a knife with it.
It's true.
So I had said, hey, I would like to sharpen my knives again. He's like, well, then you can do it on Tinker Tailor.
Where I can supervise you.
I don't think that was the rule. That wasn't the intention, but I don't know what I'm doing, and so I'm going to learn how to do this and not bother Ian in the process. It looks like there are different stones that have different roughnesses.
So far, so good.
Yes. That means that
It says on the side that you can't see, it says use safety guards.
oh, it says on this side too. It says it on 4 different sides. Use safety guards.
Do you know what the safety guards are?
They are these things.
Good. Got there.
These are the safety guards.
Okay, good.
Do you know how to use them?
They go in these holes.
Okay, excellent.
The idea, I believe, is that you can put your hand on one side or the other, and then as you're sharpening your knife, if it slips, it hits these things and doesn't go into your hand. How am I doing?
So far, so good.
Good.
I haven't needed to correct anything.
So the from the looks of it here, these are supposed to slide into these holes because there's these little triangular bits, and so these are supposed to slide into there. And they go in at different angles. So if you notice, I can find it's like playing with a goddamn, there we go. So if you look at the difference, they're supposed to be slightly off center of each other. Like they lean at different sides. So if I was just to get all 4 of them in here, I don't think I can actually get all 4 of them in here now that I think about
Yeah,
it.
you really don't
Yeah.
need to. In fact,
Yeah.
you probably shouldn't.
Yeah, but they all lean at like different angles.
Very specific angles too.
Yeah, so on this side it's the 30-degree back bevel, and on this side it's for a 40-degree edge.
Yep.
So,
Now you'll note that you can also insert those triangles in different manners, rotationally.
yeah, if I put it in like this, with the groove down the center, that's,
Incorrect.
yeah, I was going to say that doesn't work.
Yeah, the groove is actually only there for sharpening points and fish hooks, from my understanding.
Ah, neat. Yeah, so I can put it in like this, or I can put it in like this,
No, turn it about, yeah, like that.
like that.
Yeah, so you're using either the flat end or the pointy end of the triangle,
Oh yeah, yeah.
depending on which stage of sharpening you're going to be going on.
Right.
Because you're going to be going through 4 stages of sharpening today. Pain, sadness,
Bargaining,
yep,
and finally release.
Oh, bleeding.
And bleeding.
Yeah.
And I believe I start with the brown ones because they're the coarser ones.
yes they are.
Yeah.
You can buy a third set of the triangles that are diamond based, but I never sprung for
This
those.
is far more complicated. I've got like the sharpening, like the bar that you use to kind of to I guess that's more of a honing thing.
That
than a
is
sharpening thing.
exactly correct.
So I have, among all the other knives I have, and we will go through all these in a second, and this is the least safe way for me to be presenting my knives, but we'll do it because I have no depth perception. I have this lovely set, which I believe is bone handled.
I lost a screw.
Oh no. These were willed to me, among other things, by my late grandparents. Because my mother said, "Do you want these?" I don't. And I'm like, "Sure." And that's how I got them. It's got a little foot on the fork.
Now,
Ooh.
Yeah, fancy.
now, Beej, that is not a knife. I'm
No,
pretty sure.
This is a fork. This is a carving set. So the things I've learned about, I'm going to move this.
Wow. That that is a knife that has been around for a
Long time. This is
Wow.
I believe this is a much more this has a lot more carbon in it if you were to compare the two knives, because this is stainless steel and it's brand new, and this is very dull.
Was that knife straight originally?
On top, no, I think it's always been curved like that. Underneath, I'm not sure.
No, that was definitely supposed to be straighter.
Yeah.
What's going on there is that knife has been honed within
Over and
the
over.
edge of its life.
For a long, long time. And so I learned stealing by reading an article online.
On the Pirate Bay?
Yeah, from the Pirate Bay and learned how to steal. And I'm not sure I do it correctly, but I'm pretty sure I do. And here's the nice thing: these are some great little encouragement for you in the chat. A lot of you in the chat are probably knife enthusiasts. Why? Because people on the internet tend to be knife enthusiasts.
We got to show off our EDC.
Yeah, so if any of you out there have an issue with my technique, you're probably going to let us know about it. And that's fine.
Well, I hope they do.
I hope they do.
Don't want
Is
your hand
has
chopped off
has
the
that steel been dropped and the point broken off?
Probably over the many years.
Wow.
Yeah, this is a very, very old set. But as I learned when I was reading it, don't do this. Don't draw with your hand. With the knife, you should be drawing with the steel when you're steeling. Because you want to keep this hand steady, because this is the one that has a lot of tension and stuff in it. You don't want to get caught and then fly off and then whatever. You hold it steady and you drag the steel across it, because that's what's supposed to actually be doing all the work, is the steel.
That's what's also going to be happening while you're sharpening. Is you're going to want to keep that hand very steady going down to keep a straight up and down 90 degrees against the sharpener.
Because you want to, that's how this works, right? Is that the reason those are at an angle is it makes it easier for you to do this with it.
Now,
To draw
Beach,
it across.
I've noticed in the chat, some people brought this up. Do you know what you're actually doing when you're honing your knife with the steel?
All the little burrs and bits that have gotten, like, because basically any damage done to the knife is what ruins the edge. And that'll be edge on stuff generally. And it'll be little bits at microscopic level, I guess, that are being that are being deflected, and that's what's causing it to be dull and wrong because the edge has been worn off on one side or whatever. So what you're doing when you steel a knife, when you hone a knife, is you're saying, I'm pushing all those little bits of very weak metal to one side. Then I'm going to do the other side, and I'm going to push all those little weak bits of metal to the other side. And you just keep doing that back and forth, and eventually those little weak bits of metal come away.
Everything straightens out on that point.
So and then you end up with nice new steel underneath, or all the little bits that have come off of like, now we've revealed a much cleaner edge to work with. And I used to hone this knife quite a bit. And then I was trying to hone my other knives and realized that they're not really getting anywhere. It's harder. I mean, you can hone a stainless steel knife, that's fine, but it's harder because the metal is harder. And something that's a high carbon steel knives are a lot easier because it's a lot softer, but it means you can lose your edge in a big hurry. So
I'm going to go ahead and start
let's
my work here, which is fixing up this stick. Because one of these sticks, if I recall, had some drift to it. And I'm actually using this piece of software online at htmlgamepad.net to have a look at the sticks. And so as you can see, the right stick, when I push it back and forth, it stays steady. It doesn't always return perfectly to zero, but it doesn't have to. It's as long as it's within the dead zone area, you're generally pretty fine. But if you notice the left stick is constantly, it always looks like it's constantly being pulled towards the bottom.
Oh.
And then slowly releasing itself. And that's terrible. So if I only need to replace one of these sticks, that's better. It means less soldering that needs to be done.
Is it because have you taken out like the springs or something that would normally return them to neutral?
No, this is just, they've done this all on their own.
Because like the one on the right hand wasn't jumping back to normal at all, right? You had to move it back. Mm-hmm. So it's obviously not.
Yeah, these sticks tend to, I guess they should bounce back. So I guess we're replacing all of them.
Yay!
Hooray!
So are these replacement sticks that you have are they just the actual part?
Yep, these are just if we have a look at them here on the camera, the only difference between these sticks that are currently in here and these ones in my hand, and I don't even know if you can see it, is that the plastic in here is white versus in these sticks, the plastic inside them, is black. So once I get one out, I'll show you. But in case I forget, please remember that, chat. The new ones are white. The old ones are black.
Okay.
I'm gonna need my solder sucker. Beej, what are you doing?
I am reviewing the instructions to know what steps I have to use this in.
Oh.
Because there are 4 colors of things I should be doing, according to the, you can maybe see it on my phone, there's just 4 colors on the phone.
Step green.
Yeah, step green is the first step. And step green is shaping. Use the corner of the gray stone to shape an edge or set a bevel as it cuts the fastest. Sounds good. And then you use step 2 to produce a utility edge, which is when you use the flat sides. Then step 3 is the corner of the white stones to get a very sharp edge. And then step 4 is the flat surface of the white stone to produce a razor edge, as it is very fine. Very fine indeed.
And then I believe you need to illustrate that by shaving.
Yes.
With your butcher knife or
yes,
whatever.
with my giant butcher knife.
That's how you know you have a razor's edge.
So if I want a 40-degree angle on this, on my plane edge, let's have a look here, because I don't know if I'm... Oh, interesting. They say to do the back bevel only when steps 1 through 4 fail to produce a desired result. So I'm actually on the wrong side. You have to do your edge first, then you do your back bevel. That's fascinating. I thought it would be the other way, but I guess that makes sense in its own way. So I have to remove these, and then I have to put them in the other sides.
And I'm gonna suck some solder. Only got $20 in my pocket.
Pucker up.
All right, here we go. The reason why I don't do this making this clear, why I haven't done this like before also, is my goodness, it's hard for me to tell where my hand is. Yeah, Jesus, I have to look like straight down at this to keep it.
You're definitely going to want to be feeling some cutting.
Yeah.
But the idea is that you're going to want your cutting to feel more,
Like it feels like something is wearing away.
feel easier as it goes on. Okay, now I need to make sure that I'm only desoldering what I need to out of these. There appear to be a lot. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 points of contact on each of these
Holy
sticks.
doodle.
Wow.
That was a good one. 2. And those 3 are good.
Did you get there?
The first ones seem to be a little bit more difficult, but maybe if I use a brush on them, I can get them a little bit cleaner.
I have lost count.
Yep, that'll happen too.
Damn it.
I don't think the exact number matters as
No.
long as you've at least reached the
Yeah.
recommended.
We'll do 30 per side, so 2.
Eddie at the Gov, if you indeed have knife phobia, this possibly could be a bad stream for you. I'm sorry. However, if you enjoy the sound of knives being sharpened, this is probably a great stream.
Yeah, I'll probably have to put together a loop with that for people to
For
sample.
Asthma?
Sucks to the asthma.
What I have to remember to do is to not do the thing I do whenever I'm washing dishes, which is why I don't wash dishes generally.
Don't wash dishes with a sharpening stone, that's
yeah,
for sure.
and don't wash them with a knife in your hand. Don't wash
Yeah.
your dishes with a knife. What I do is while I'm polishing the dish with a cloth, I'll get into it, and then of course your body starts shaking a bit, so that starts going, and then I start polishing the roof of my mouth with my tongue,
Oh no.
and I don't realize I'm doing it until they both start to hurt.
I think
That sucks.
No, that's what this does.
Yeah. Sorry, Paul?
I think you're generally like you're supposed to be like drying the dishes, not like polishing them to a mere shine.
No, it's when I'm washing them. It's like I got to scrub to get all the stuff off, and so I'm scrubbing like, and then I start the top of my mouth, and yum, 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 yum. And yeah, it's awful.
Oh yeah, as Chad points out, the reason that you don't wash the dishes is, of course, you have to cut your hair.
Yeah. I have to mow my dog. Let's say that's 14.
I have a big scar on my thumb from doing the dishes, and a glass broke.
Oh yeah.
Under the hot soapy water, so I couldn't see it,
Oh no.
and so I pulled it up and
And now I have 2 problems. Dirty glass and a bloody hand.
yeah.
I can't get this blood
Yeah.
out of my
Yeah,
glass.
it took forever to get the glass clean. I'll tell you.
You have so many pieces to wash.
Okay. So I think I've just desoldered all of the pieces off of this one, but I don't think it's going to very nicely come through because it was a bad job I did. Yeah, that's still pretty well stuck in there. So we're going to have to give it some leverage. My second favorite work of William T. Riker. Jonathan Frakes, that was his real name. All right, let's spudge with a screwdriver. Let's do things wrong for once.
Yeah.
Just once.
I mean, I have some knives if you want to use those. It's 10 on that
Seems
side.
good. Now, my understanding with these things is that you actually want to alternate going back and forth.
Oh, one and one?
Yeah.
Ooh, that sounds pretty good. Let's do that.
Because what you'll end up doing otherwise is just wearing a one side away too quickly.
The idea is to have it approximately equal number of
Strokes on each
strokes
side.
on each side.
Well, let's just
Yeah.
do that then.
You can do that for your next knife as a comparison.
Yeah. Let's see here.
Exercise to the...
Doesn't feel appreciably different yet. Okay. So, the flats.
How rascally would you describe these flats?
Oh, they are the rascaliest. All right, let's read that again. Step 1 and step 2, hold blade vertically. Hold blade vertically. Always sharpen entire blade from heel to tip, drawing blade towards you as you slice down stone. Start with step 1, then continue through step 2.
Generally good advice.
It's really good. I like press hard enough to remove metal. Excess pressure does not improve performance.
So just press hard enough, no harder.
I just want that for my office. Just a sign that says excess pressure will not improve performance.
Pushing beige harder than he wants will not improve performance.
It's funny though, because it's not always true. Sometimes I perform better under pressure. I don't like that though. Oh, I see. For each step, give 20 strokes on each side, alternating between right and left. That would have been good to read earlier.
Stroke, stroke, stroke.
When one area of stone is loaded with steel, i.e. to where it's no longer cutting metal, rotate stone and base to clean area. Oh, Jesus, yeah.
Oh yeah, that's loaded.
I pulled off a lot of dust.
That's just metal.
I should probably
So dusty. Not.
have some sort of rag to wipe these down with.
That might help.
There we go.
Damp rag or just dry rag?
Damp would be fine.
Damp would be fine. Heather, can I prevail upon you to fetch me just a damp paper towel or a damp rag?
And dampen a rag.
Yeah. Could you dampen a rag for me, dear?
Not when you ask like that, I won't.
Could you please get me a damp rag because I'm tethered to the basement?
Yeah, I will.
The basement?
Yeah, what the hell's that?
Did you mean microphone? It
Yes.
said basement?
I call that a Freudian slip. What a relief.
Oh!
Lad of froyo.
Hey, Beach.
Hey, Ian.
Did you know that there's vibration motors inside of the triggers in Xbox One controller?
In the triggers, you say?
Yeah.
The hell you say?
That's what these little things are.
Okay. Is that the only place they are?
Well, no, there are tiny ones there, and then you can see the larger ones at the bottom.
Right, where your hand would go.
Yeah.
To feel the kick.
But that's pretty interesting. I guess that's for increased realism in the shooty mans.
That's the 3D vibration, I guess. So it's got it in multiple spots.
Is that what they say? Is that a feature? Is the 3D vibration, or is that something we hope that exists?
I thought 3D vibration was a. Oh no, that's HD rumble on the Switch,
Yes.
not 3D.
I don't know what they market it as, but I believe there is that it has better vibration than the 360.
Oh, thank you. Oh, geez, yeah. I made a line. I made a hell of a line. I wonder if I should have wiped these down before we started. You didn't leave steel on these, did you, Ian?
Maybe.
Maybe? All right. Well, I pulled a shit ton of carbon off, so that's fine.
I mean, I'm okay with you cleaning my equipment.
Yeah, that's good. I'm okay with not having to pay for it. So everybody wins in this situation. Sorry, I'll try not to kick the table again.
Okay, so I'm pretty sure I've got enough of the solder off to be able to get this out. There we go. Now she comes out nice. There we go. Oh, are you going to pull your friend with you too? I guess you are.
I thought you were talking to me.
Somehow I imagined that these controller things would be a little bit more of like a pop it in and out kind of procedure, not a desolder the whole thing.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that probably didn't factor into their design of these initially. I'm guessing mostly because they probably didn't expect to have to repair these things all that much. There we go. So, if we get that, you can see the two different ones. The new one has the white internal plastic, the old one has the black plastic. But here's the other interesting thing I find about these click sticks. So they've got their potentiometers on the side to read the axes of movement. But for the click, it's literally just a tiny micro switch button that's embedded in there that gets pushed down by a piece of plastic.
Oh, and it's the actual button is like off to the side.
Yeah, and it's an actual button. Like it's something that's manufactured separately and then brought to the whatever assembly line is where they assemble these
The mechanism?
mechanisms. Yeah, multi-angle.
Or assembly, I guess.
So can you illustrate how that is? Can we see how one stick isn't working and the other one is working, or
Well,
is it not these ones?
That's hard to do. I mean, this one, as you can see, the joystick sticks just where in a way that it shouldn't. As for illustrating why it does the whole drift
so
back.
So yeah, like that shouldn't.
Yeah,
It should go back to center by itself.
a lot easier than that. So let's just slip the new one just slots right into the hole there, very easily. And then I'm just going to need to solder all 14, I think it was, of those points back. Thankfully, that part should be a lot easier.
But it's just a close-up of the controller. It's like I'm getting some weird, like interference on the line. There's like this weird grinding noise.
Yeah.
Not enough solder sometimes.
The knife sharpening sounds like a troll snore.
It does kind of sound like the Hinox.
Oh,
Kinda like
yeah.
that.
The Hinox from Breath of the Wild, they have this snore that's otherworldly. It's very similar to this sound, where it's this deep kind of yeah kind of thing, but it's like really deep and rumbly.
It's really weird when you run across it, but you haven't found the thing yet.
This is from Zelda.
Yeah.
All right. For next Loading Ready Live, Beej emulates Zelda monster.
Beej makes noises of video game characters.
I can't wait to hear some Dodongos.
You know what? I don't think we've run across a single Dodongo in Breath of the Wild.
Wow, did they bomb all of them away?
I guess.
Wow.
Well, they're dinosaurs, right?
I mean,
so I guess they're way in the future.
I mean,
now.
animals really are very susceptible to bombs.
Dodongo dislikes bombs.
Okay. There's been some desire in the chat, and maybe we won't do it right now, but maybe at some point tonight to just record, to just everybody be quiet and just have knife sharpening for a little bit.
Just so you can get that
Yeah.
that sample in.
It's
Yep.
and everything.
I can't wait until we bring this to Desert Bus.
It's gonna be a shift, isn't it?
We'll just get a whole bunch of knife sharpeners and a bunch of people with sharpeners and knives, and just have everybody sharpen knives
What
for.
we need to do is actually
Do it
then
in stereo.
Yeah.
we need to actually find different pitches from different knives. It's just,
yeah.
just like a Carol of the Bells, but done on sharpening knives.
All right. Start with step 1, then continue through step 2, step 3, and step 4. You've already done step 2 and step 1. Step 1 and step 2. This is to achieve a honed edge. Anything different about this?
All right, time to plug this in and check our work.
It's all the same thing.
It's basically you're just doing the same thing over progressively smaller grits, right?
Essentially, yeah. Like it sounds like the corner of the shaping when you use the brown ones, because they're saying that's shaping, and you're going from an offset bevel to a true bevel, because now you're achieving a better edge, and your edge has just been shaped to be a certain way. And then they say the utility edge, it's a true bevel, but a utility edge. And I'm like, okay. And then it goes utility edge, honed edge, and razor's edge, how they refer to the 4 steps. I'm like, all right, whatever. But I guess the first step is to get everything back in alignment. And then the second step, or the second, third, and fourth steps are to achieve a finer and finer edge each time.
Okay.
So I hope that works.
I think I'm actually pretty happy with where this stick lands. And
It's not doing the same.
it's certainly not sticking right now.
And it's not drifting the same way as it was before.
Not at all.
Excellent.
No drift. So the other thing is, once I get the cap on this other stick, for some reason, just having that pressure on it keeps it from sticking as well. So I don't see a reason, personally, for me to swap out the second stick, and it means that I can actually save one of these sticks should another one decide to go south on me.
That's great.
I just
Cool.
need to make sure that I'm not saving the bad stick. So to do that, I'm going to open it up.
So you acquired these from eBay.
Yep.
Do they sell them as a kit, like you're buying two sticks, or do you,
Well, yeah,
did you
they-
buy 2 in hopes of having to replace them
They
both?
gave me 2 sticks, and as I said, they also gave me the cappers for them as well.
Ah,
So they know what they're for. The whole set cost me something like $5.
I ordered 4 things on eBay back at the end of January. One of them showed up. The 2 of the other ones never showed up, and the dealers have given me refunds. And this last thing that I've ordered, which is supposed to come from Thailand, is looking the same way. And I'm just having the worst luck buying stuff on eBay from Asia.
Well, these came from China, I assume directly from Shenzhen.
Yeah, I need
And,
to find a better
yeah.
dealer.
So I'm just taking this one apart just so that I know that this is the one that doesn't work. Maybe I can hack these potentiometers into some other use case. Maybe not the bad one, but like, yeah, this is just, here's a potentiometer that clips into the side of this metal case that just has the little joystick in it. Let's just disassemble this a bit more to see how deep we can get into it without actually breaking anything. Because those come out just fine without any difficulty. I'm not sure how the rest of it would come apart though without actually breaking something. But I would love to harvest the button from there at some point too. Those are always useful. Okay. I think we've gotten as far as we can get on this. But yeah, so now let's reassemble this guy and then we can get the PS4 opened up. Can I do this from memory? The answer is yes. The answer is God, I hope so. For those of you who are considering taking apart a controller, I would recommend, if you have a choice, take apart the Xbox ones because they're actually a lot easier to take apart.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
They're actually, despite the fact that a lot of their components are quite similar, they're built quite differently.
Yes. Like well, we'll see once we get in there, but as you can see, taking this apart was just a matter of clomping this off and then unscrewing the 2 parts. The difference is one of the screws in the Xbox is obscured by a sticker, so you're going to have to void your warranty, obviously, by doing that. And you have to spudge off these covers, which I might just leave off. No. We'll put it all back together.
Hell nah.
The chat points out, in case it wasn't clear, with the sharpening, obviously the different levels of edge are basically the trade-off between sharpness and durability of your edge, right?
It's true.
The sharper, the more razor sharp you make your edge, the less the shorter time it'll take to degrade.
Exactly.
Yeah, it won't hold that particular edge, but it still will remain sharper than
it was currently.
Yeah.
This has already been a fairly sharp, like my carving knife is one of my sharper knives because I rarely use it. It's, because I rarely...
Sorry, your head is...
Yeah.
I assumed everyone was going to be sitting.
This is one of my sharper knives because I rarely use it. It is a carving knife, so I use it to carve. I don't have big hunks of meat in the house that often, so I don't touch it that often. But I wanted to touch it up if I could. And when we're done here, will it have a razor edge? I don't think so. I don't think I'm doing well enough. But I feel like I'm making progress on it. And I feel like that's important because
I kind of want to do the drop like a hair on it.
Yeah.
And the hair falls and then gets cut in half. Is it?
Like that does not work.
one of my favorite. I'm sure I brought it up somewhere in Loading Ready Run, but I don't think on this show.
Mm-hmm.
One of my favorite samurai dramas that I occasionally watched as daytime TV in Japan had an episode where they were.
Oh, was it Mito Komen?
I don't know what it was.
Okay.
I didn't speak enough at the time or read enough.
That's fair.
But there were Japanese samurai dramas on all the time. The point is, this episode had, it was about a sword maker. And they were testing his swords for some reason because he was going to give one as a present to the shogun, I guess. And to test the sword, it failed the initial test from the guy who was just looking at it and saying, no, this is no good. And he was so confident in his work that what he did is he grabbed it from the examiner, ran outside to the stream, slammed the sword in the stream with the blade facing upstream, and then threw a lily into the water.
I was going to say, cutting a stream of water is not that difficult. That's not that impressive.
Yeah, but when he did it, it actually severed it into hydrogen and oxygen.
Okay, now if it causes a nuclear explosion when he puts it into that's
Big
impressive.
difference. Yeah. The point is, at the beginning of the episode, he turns out he had made a bad sword. But by the end of the episode, he did it again, and then the lily was cut by simply just the force of it going by on the water, and the day was saved. And then Price Lock Man went away.
The cutting a leaf in a stream is a Muramasa trademark.
Okay.
I guess that was famous. He was famous for doing that.
So it might have actually been an episode about Muramasa, maybe. They certainly like doing those folktale type episodes in those period dramas.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, hey, what if this person who's legendary was real? Except that he was.
Yeah, it's like what if we could retell an apocryphal story, or even just a straight up legend? What if we can tell something cool that they spread legends about him?
Okay, that came together rather easily.
That's no good.
Let's make sure that it still works, but
I feel like This is a very, very slippery stone.
Left and right, up, down.
A, B.
Yep.
Start.
Stream turns off.
It's all working.
All the buttons work. So, Beach,
So, Ian.
give this a try and tell me if you can tell which one is the new stick or not.
The left one is the new stick.
Yes, you were correct.
Yeah, it's very stiff. It's really, really nice and responsive. This one's a little floaty at middle, but not bad, and then it's loose. That is a really good feeling stick.
So we saved ourselves a good $80 there. Let's crack into this guy.
Nice. Saved us a good $80, which is enough so we can ruin this controller.
I mean, ideally, at worst, we get out, we come out as a wash, but...
Tinker Tailor zero-sum game. It's funny, doing this makes me think that it's one of those things where it's like, do this thing 20 times.
In memory of me.
Then do this thing again 20 times, and do it again 20 times, and do it again 20 times. And at the end, your knife will be perfect. That's a lie. That's not true at all. Like, it's like, do this thing 20 times, then do it again 3 more times, the rounds of 20 reps each. And at the end, maybe you did it right, and maybe your knife will turn out properly.
I mean, you can tell, right? You can test right now with your finger or your fingernail or whatever your preferred method of checking it is.
Ooh, Jesus.
But yeah, you should be able to see that it's starting to get sharp.
Yeah, that feels a lot sharper than it did.
Can you believe this place without an appendage?
I'm not gonna bleed myself. It's just that it did feel like, oh, that is a little bit sharper than it was before. That's good.
I will finish the job if the knife doesn't.
We have a whole bunch of knives here. Like,
Is Ian a closet Catholic? No.
my mother said the weirdest thing to me the other.
She said, is Ian a closet Catholic?
Yeah, no. She was telling me about how she's like, oh, so there was a we're living near these people who, that apparently she was one of your high school teachers. This is in Arizona, out of nowhere. It's like we haven't been living near this woman. She apparently was your high school teacher. She taught you this course, and I'm like, what's her name? And she says, oh, her name is this, and I said, okay, well, I know that her name was actually this because she was unmarried at the time, so.
You're a liar.
You need to tell me, like, did she happen to say what she, like, any of this other more information? Well, she taught you this course. I'm like, yes, I know, but did she give you any, like, that was she was called something else back? It's like, no, but she married somebody else, and then they got divorced, and now she's married to this new guy. Well, who else? Well, she married this other guy, somebody we know back in Medicine Hat, and I'm like, did she happen to say anything about, like, Mom, do you know for sure whether this woman was somebody that we knew from, like, did we know that they got married to this dude or whatever? Like, I remember her being pregnant at the time at one point too, and does she have a kid, like, from 20 years ago or what? And really nothing. She's like, well, I know that they ended up getting divorced because he was sleeping on the couch and they hadn't been having a very good relationship, and he woke up and he was standing over him with a knife.
Okay, no,
Like,
I was wondering if this is a beach
that
where
was
it
the
going
payoff!
That was wow.
And I was like, whoa, like,
Volume.
where did that come from?
That
all of
came
a sudden?
little bit out of nowhere.
Like,
It's,
so,
it's
hey,
it's
guess
like,
what?
so does that remind you of your teacher? Is that
Yes!
something that?
I was like, so wait, you're telling me that the way for me to tell is whether or not my teacher was an attempted murderer?
It turns out to be that this was quite an in-depth conversation that your mother had. Eh?
We got there that fast! And I just couldn't. And it's because my mother knew the ex-husband, right? They'd been friends with them through some other some other relationship or whatever, and I'm just kind of like, I don't know, none of this sounds familiar to me. I don't remember you telling me a thing about this when we were living in, and she didn't murder him, but she was really angry about something, and he woke up and she had a knife, and I was like, fuck. I'm like, this doesn't help, but now you're telling me you're living down the street from an attempted murderer, so hooray!
Well, it's only attempted murder if you
actually tried to murder him.
If you get caught trying to, or are accused of being, wow,
She was just standing there with a knife, and you didn't know she was going to use it or not, right? Like,
I've seen that anime.
God, nice boat.
It is. The people in the chat have suggested not doing that.
Maybe don't.
Yeah, it feels a lot sharper than it did. I'm going to leave it at this for my carving one. This is a nice way to practice.
Ooh, hello.
Time to start one of my other knives.
Yay! Wait, was that how it was supposed to open?
Yes, thankfully.
Okay, good.
Yeah,
Okay.
this is. So this is the USB controller for the PlayStation 4. You can already see it's a lot more difficult to get into. 4 screws, normal screws, not
No
torque
waiting.
screws like the Xbox One. But already you've got a tiny little board here, and this is the USB board that goes into the regular controller itself. So let's see if we get anything out of that.
Yeah, chat's already bringing up
Something right there.
Whoop.
Okay, back to the original things.
Got any more knife stories, Beach?
See, it all
Any other things you'd like to tell me about?
about knives. All the weird people that my... Isn't it nice that we hooked up with them again? Yeah, it's great that you guys have met up. That's really cool. If it's like she told me who it was who taught, and I'm like, if this is the same woman I remember who taught me that class, I don't. She doesn't seem like the same woman. There's a lot of things that I'm like, wow, that must have been a really shitty relationship. Right.
It is weird to meet. When you do meet teachers
Outside
outside of school.
And they're holding knives?
Yeah, and then they're threatening you with knives. I mean, that's happened to all of us. I know,
Yeah.
but-
It's a
At least
rite of passage.
All of us who used to deal it would be heroin. That would be a knife attack, right? You'd have a heroin knife attack? Yeah.
Know the signs of knife attack.
That's right. I forgot. You asked me to do this, so I'm going to just be sure. There we go.
Are you going to test your...
Yep.
Okay.
All right, so... And...
That is not a... Wow, it is a full tang.
Full tang. It's just that they treated the tops with something that didn't want to...
There might be some continuity error between them, too.
Yeah. Cool. So my knives are continuous.
Continuous knife.
I mean...
They're contiguous, in fact.
It looks like it goes all the way to the end here, but this is a Tramontina knife made of inox stainless steel in Brazil. I like this knife. It's my mother has a knife that's a lot like this, and it has been whetstoned. It was whetstoned an awful lot. My dad did a lot of that to it, and it's always been maintained quite sharp. But of course, it looks like a murder knife. And I really like my mini machete because it's so good as a utility knife, like just basically to like, I'm gonna break shit apart, but I've also used it for a lot of chopping onions and stuff. But this did not have a great edge to begin with. What's shaking?
I'm not sure yet.
Okay.
Oh, okay. So voltage is getting in.
But it can't get out.
And we're actually getting 5.6 up to, 7 volts.
Beach, people want to know if that's the knife you used on the durian.
Yeah, it is. This is my durian knife.
Yeah, I have a knife like that that's even a little bigger. It's like about an inch longer and a little wider. And my dad gave it to me, and it was like, oh, that's a big knife. And he's like, because I have like a sort of a chef's knife, and he was like, I figured you'd need something else to do stuff with.
This is, I mean, it's nice to have. I like having something like this because I like the fact that it rotates out at the tip like that. I like to be able to rock with the knife. It is a more interesting design, I think, too. I've had friends though who look at it, who looked at my mother's knife and like, Jesus Christ, why does your mother have this murder knife? And it's like, it's a really good knife. Like, don't knock it. It ain't a cleaver and it ain't a chef's knife, but it has its uses. I just don't know how you refer to this kind of design.
I'm not a fan, personally.
Of this kind of knife?
No.
That's fine. I know not everybody is, but I grew up having one of these, so I got very used to using it. And when it was like always the sharpest knife in the house, because it's the one my mother always uses, it was like, oh, well, clearly grab the best knife that you have.
Yes, for controller, not charging. Okay.
So seeing power is getting to it, but
power,
it's not doing it?
Yeah, power is getting to it, but it's not responding. So we're going to try pushing the reset button on it.
I mean, I tried that when it was not when it was not taken apart, but Maybe it's a different thing now.
Did you have a multimeter when you did it, Paul?
No.
Well,
I didn't.
then.
I think it's weird that Paul's being taken down by the guy sharpening a knife and not the person with the controller.
Oh, man. Oh, that felt really good. Let's do that a little more. Let's put my thumb inside the safety.
Yeah, whoa.
I was like cutting it down like this is very comfortable. Oh no!
It's very comfortable until it becomes extremely uncomfortable.
Yeah, who put that bone hot dog down there?
Very unpopular brand of hot dog.
Grab yourself a bone. It's amazing doing this because you can feel the points at which the stone is saying, nope, gotta get that, gotta get that, gotta get that. Like it's, and then you can also feel the bits where the stone has also been like, I am full of steel and nothing gets in me anymore.
Okay. So I had just a cursory Google reviewing here, and I think you probably came to the same conclusion I did, Paul. It looks like this may actually be a USB problem in the controller.
Yeah, I mean, I went through the sort of the things that you can do without opening it up in terms of hitting reset buttons and stuff. And I have actually read that that particular, like the PS4 controllers are fairly notorious for their controller, their USB ports messing up. So.
Yeah, my understanding is that it's even possible to possibly charge these things from the bottom using the EXT plug, but
Oh, neat.
there's no guarantee of that. So if that doesn't work, then who knows? But it's probably a if that doesn't solve the issue, then it's probably a USB problem. So now I have to get this back together. Thankfully, I didn't unplug it all the way, which means that this is a little bit easier to get in. When I did this to replace my sticks, you need to take everything apart all the way.
Oh wow.
Yeah. And the touch bar is a fiddly little piece, and just not fun. However, I've also done something in here to get things off kilter bits. I gotta put that back. Like, I suppose we could just crack it open and then just give it a new battery each time. It's interesting. Well, it's interesting that the batteries are meant to be a lot more reusable than one would think, because they're plugged in via just a connector on the back of the controller itself, and they even have a little housing for them.
They wanted it easier to, I mean, it's,
Interesting. Yeah, it says somebody in the chat says it's possible to charge them from the bottom. I have a Sony charger that does that. The weird thing is we have a PlayStation charger that's like a stand charger, but it just plugs into the USB ports.
Yeah.
because
I mean,
it's probably easier to license a USB
It's
jack than it is to license whatever
100%.
the,
It's got to be 100% cheaper to do that.
yeah.
Also, yeah, it's probably not that good quality a charger thing. So is there? Yeah. So I guess we need, because I think the actual connection, USB connection, is fine. It's just the battery is dead and it's not getting power.
Well,
So theoretically, if it could be charged, or the battery replaced or whatever, and plugged in, it would actually work as a controller until it died again.
well, I mean, there is a something we can test there. We could open up a second controller, swap the batteries.
But then that would be opening up a controller that's working.
I mean, I'm confident I wouldn't make a problem, but
That's metal.
maybe that's a project to do on my own time. Bring in one of my controllers from home that I'm a little bit more comfortable opening up and having die permanently if need be. How much? 3.65 volts.
Dark Morford is asking if you have any opinions on what is it? Victorinox.
Victorinox?
Knives.
There's the wire cutter gave the 8-inch Victorinox chef knife from a few years back, gave it their editor's choice recommendation. And they had, you can get it with different handles as well. And I really wanted to try that one because it was like, it keeps an edge very well. It's a very sturdy knife. It's very well balanced apparently. Taking into account how much the knife costs, which is like $35.
They make a really good knife, and to be honest, $35 is not much for a good knife.
Yeah, and a lot of people don't want to be bothered with having to sharpen a knife, so it's like, go hard. Yeah. If you want to, they also recommended, I think, a Mac, one of the, like a $250 Mac knife, as like, this is like the best of the best. And I'm not going to buy one of those for my house. I mean, I know Dan bought a really nice Japanese knife, and I was kind of jealous, but I was also like, well, if I just had better equipment, I guess if I just kept my own knife sharp, I would have a better result, and then I could. It's one of those things where it's like, if you can learn how to play nice with the tools you have, then you can deserve to have tools that are better. Is how I kind of approach it. Like, so I read a thing about Ed Robertson, who plays guitar for the Bare Naked Ladies. This is in the book that they published about their lives. And he was talking about how when he was learning to play guitar, he started with your kind of bog standard acoustic, whatever it was. And he was getting so good at it so fast that his parents decided, okay, well, it is time for him to have like a nicer guitar. And they bought him Gibson Les Paul. It was like a beautiful flame sunburst kind of thing, and that really just like accelerated his ability to play well. And there's a lot to be said about that, because when I learned to play guitar, when I was learning to play on an electric, that made it a lot easier for me to learn to play, and then to jump to a really crappy acoustic. It's like I wanted to have an acoustic to be able to play, but it was a really rough acoustic to play. And then eventually, after reading this thing where he had said, at a certain point, the quality of your tools impacts your ability to do work a certain way. You can always get a good result, but if you're like with like a mediocre tool,
right.
But generally, really, like people who are good at that, like a good craftsman, won't blame his tools, because they could be any kind of tool. But a good craftsman's also invested by that point probably in good tools, because they know what works for them and what doesn't. And that's kind of the thing. It's like if you're learning, starting on something that's just kind of like your $100 guitar, that's fine, but at a certain point, buying a guitar that's more expensive to be able to have a better quality instrument to play with, you hopefully by that point have appreciated how much better it is to have this thing. But then at some point, if you get to be an expert, you'll be able to pick up any guitar and play quite well, regardless of whether it's a good guitar or a bad guitar. And moving to a better acoustic, buying my Ovation, was a big step for me, because it did make it a lot easier to play. And if I ever clean up that Samick properly, I'll probably get back to playing that some more too and really enjoy it. Because I played my dad's Fender. He bought a Fender Stratocaster that was only about like 6 or 7 years old, and he came to the house with it one time, and he's like, "Oh, here, do you want to try playing?" I'm like, "Yeah," and it was amazing. And I was like, "Damn, I like my Samick, but it needs a lot of work if it's going to perform as well as this thing does. This thing plays so nicely." So, there's a thing. You could use a mediocre tool, but at some point, if you want to get better, you should invest in better tools.
There's somebody in the chat saying Adam Savage, his rule is buy the cheapest version of whatever.
Yeah.
And then if that breaks, then go buy the good quality one, because it means that you've used it at least enough for it to break that one.
Yeah,
that's actually a really good way of thinking about that. I always question whether or not I should fall on the side of just keep buying the cheap ones and replace them when they break, versus buy the right one once.
Mm-hmm.
Because like you and I have talked about in previous about our tool acquisitions from Princess Auto and the infinite carousel that is.
Oh yeah, their returns policy.
Yeah.
Like you have a perfectly good Power Fist multimeter here.
Yeah, and it's lasted me for years, and it will last me hopefully for years more.
Yeah, you don't need to go out and buy a fluke
No.
because of it.
Ooh, especially for what I'm using this for. But I still keep the packaging and receipt in case something goes wrong with it.
Yeah.
Someone else was pointing out, Jay Blank in the chat, that a good craftsman doesn't blame their tools because they're using the right tool, have taken care of their tools, and collected the right set of tools.
Yeah.
Okay, I think I've done everything I can do with these controllers tonight. So I'm going to suggest we take a quick commercial break, and then I'll come back and crack into that keyboard.
Yay.
Find out what's inside.
I can't wait.
Play us some beautiful music.
Well, we'll make some noises of some sort.
Those
Dylan.
noises might be.
Yeah, you guys thought this was bad. Wait until he starts to play with the circuit bending.
Okay, we'll see you on the other end of these commercials, chat. Don't go away. More Tinker Tailor Soldier Fry after this. Boy, that's a heck of a playmat, ain't it?
You were looking at that one too.
Oh, yeah, no. Been waiting way too long to get the Urza Acquire Legacy Foils playmat out there. Buy one today at store.loadingreadyrun.com. Hey, everyone, welcome back to Tinker Tailor Soldier Fry, where today Beej is sharpening his knives. You're
As many as I can. I've already got one finished. Finished.
I'm actually kind of disappointed you didn't bring on any tomatoes to cut.
I hadn't thought about it. I was like, oh, I gotta be figuring out how to work this. But
Yeah.
Squish.
So you're going to continue on with your knife. I am going to switch tacks here and start working on something that I've been wanting to touch for a while, but I definitely wanted to save this for the show. Because Graham, while he was walking around in the neighborhood, God, please let there be no bed bugs or anything in here, found this, which is a Magnus electric cord organ that, as Graham's pointed out, it looked fine. Looked like it might work, but he took it into the office and he said it spins up but doesn't make any noise.
Spins up.
Yeah.
Does it
So I'm
light up?
very curious as to what's actually going on inside of this thing.
On fire?
Whew. I'll go back to my sitting position here in a second. But let's turn it on.
There was some question. People were asking if there's like a model number or something that they could look up.
Yeah, I thought the same thing. The answer is no.
Oh, so it's a homebrew.
Magnus Organ Corp. Let me see if I can flip that to the camera.
1S.
Magnus Organ Corp, Linden, New Jersey. 150.
Is that the sound of it running?
Yes.
It's the fan in the bottom, is it?
Oh,
Hey.
So the cords work.
It
maybe.
only works upside down.
Yeah, maybe I just didn't let it spin up long enough. Nope, it only works upside down.
Well, that's the electricity's funny that way, right?
Yeah.
This will be the first hang from the ceiling concert.
So something about the weight pushing down on something that's completing the contact.
Yeah.
So, I like that the sound of the fan, is almost loud, makes a significant problem to hear the organ.
Is there there's no volume control?
There is no volume
Well, it's
control
saying-
inside it.
So, for one thing, Chad says it's a reed organ, not an electric organ.
Yeah. So let's.
And so that's actually the air pump, not the fan. Not like a fan to cool it.
So chat knows what they're talking about here. So it might just be that we need to do a slight.
Arclight Dynamo says, I believe this is a Model 360, whatever that means.
God damn it! How are you so good at this, chat?
We have the hive mind accessible to us here.
I mean, that could be entirely made up thing.
Yeah,
but
Sure.
Oh yeah, Model
seems
360.
like-
Yes,
It
of
seems
course.
reasonable.
I tend to believe anything Arclight tells me. I'm maybe a little gullible that way.
Oh, now that
Arclight,
he
you could make all sorts of stuff up. and
Now
I
that
would
he
probably-
knows.
probably believe you. I don't know why.
put away my sticks here. So.
Arclight Dynamo says, I'm good at Googling. What did you Google? Is it like the organ
Yeah.
Ian has?
Organ Graham found not working.
.com.
Spins up. .com.
Yeah.
Plays only upside down.
Yeah, .manuals.com.
quickly, what are you drinking there, Ian?
I'm just drinking carbonated water.
All right.
Nothing special today.
It is not just extremely light beer.
No. Okay. So, fun fact.
In
looks-
as much as you probably whispered the word hops into it.
Yeah, looks like there's a lot of missing screws from the bottom of this.
Oh, that must be why.
Magnus Reed organ Model 360 is apparently a thing.
Cool.
Well,
Okay.
we have one of those now. I was able to find ads for it online, but didn't bother looking for the manual.
Yeah, wait to see it show up on the next crap shot.
The Magnus Major Electric organ. And the Magnus Major Electric Chord Organ Model 360. There you go.
I mean, it only plays major chords, so
Oh, so it's not major general.
No.
Well,
42 watts,
Yeah.
0.375 amps.
Yeah. Kind of weird, isn't it?
so with the lack of screws, maybe this has already been on some other person's Tinker Tailor Solder Fry equivalent.
This has just been going around the internet. People
Well-
have been
There goes the bottom and the top.
Okay, so that's,
rusty.
yeah. Ooh, boy. Exciting.
There was also just a question about what are the grits of the honing stone or the sharpening stones.
Who knows?
Coarse and fine.
The fine one is
I feel like that information is readily available on Spyderco's website. Look up the
Yeah.
Spyderco Sharp Maker. I'm sure you'll find all the information you need there, because I don't know.
Hello. Inside. So, I think I'm getting an idea how this thing works. And it looks like this is a fan,
Well done. Got there.
and then the rest of it is the organ.
I need to sit down. I need to sit down.
that revelation was so amazing. You had to sit down.
Yeah.
Alright, well, let's continue with the disassembly here. This is the, yeah, it looks like it just comes together with morettes. So this is either a repair job or
Or a roach motel.
Magnus apparently primarily makes harmonicas.
you learn something every
Things
day.
you blow through. How about that? That's like a reed organ for your mouth.
Alrighty. So I know we need to undo one of these, I think, to get the fan out. Yes. No, I need to undo both of them to get the fan out. Thankfully, it doesn't look like it matters which one I undo, or which direction they get hooked up in.
Oh.
But there's, yeah, just electrical tape over top of morettes. Ugh, and really bad morettes, too. They don't even have the center bit in them. They're just plastic on the inside.
Someone totally has been in here before.
I wouldn't be so sure about that.
You're going to add some solder to the end of those
Maybe
connections.
it was just
and then-
poorly made to begin with.
Yeah, like this is an old piece of technology, and these weren't meant necessarily to be opened up at all.
This is unplugged at the moment, yes?
Nope.
Why? Why not just work live?
Yep.
Well, somebody's got to win the poll eventually.
I mean, I could always just knock his hand away in case something happens, right? Like,
That's
The knife
perfect.
is holding.
it is full tang, you're right. I'd probably electrocute myself.
Doodles the Great says, evidently the company was acquired by World Book Encyclopedia,
Really?
and they ceased instrument production, but they kept the sheet music side going.
Oh.
Yeah. They're all caps, do not touch capacitors in the machine.
I don't think there are any capacitors in here. If there are, there could be
Yeah, I'm sure it's all AC, actually.
more difficult. Like the only thing that is electrical in here seems to be the fan. And I'm just disassembling that now.
Is Bees using a TV antenna to sharpen knives? It kind of looked like a TV antenna when you were first assembling it. Little rabbit ears. So the fan goes into some sort of cowling or something that then.
Yeah, this is what apparently spins. So, what's going on here?
That it only works upside down.
Yeah, that's my question. Is why does it only work upside down? What is it about the orientation?
Is it getting more air? Because it didn't sound like it was blowing more air.
No. I mean, it would be pretty simple to swap this fan out if that's what we need to do, but I don't think that's what we need
The
to
fan was spinning.
Is there like a flap? Like maybe there's, when the air spins up, there's a flap that moves, and when you had it standing on its end, the flap gave away, which meant that air could actually blow through the rest of the system. And maybe the flap is on like a mechanical, some sort of like hinge that has gotten stuck with age.
Let's check that. I think you probably are overthinking it, but
Yeah, me too.
because the answer is no.
Okay.
There is no such thing. Although, geez, just all these reeds. Oh wow, this is either been
Serviced?
tinkered with before, or again just really shoddy construction because there's bits of duct tape
Hashtag tinker.
Where?
right here. Not sure if I can let you see that.
Would you like to try with that?
Okay, there we go. Now I can see. There we go. You just see right there, little bits of duct tape
Oh, yeah.
on the reeds, which are all plastic.
That was like somebody adjusting the tuning or something.
Yeah.
Could be, yeah. I mean, or it might be a thing where it's like they got worn out over time, so they were always stuck open.
Ian,
Yes.
something that may be useful. I can't. It's hard to sort of show it to you here, but maybe just pull up on your laptop. Somebody did a teardown of a similar,
Reed organ?
a similar organ.
Mm-hmm.
The Model 300 Magnus. And so there's a website that Arclight Dynamo linked me to
What on earth
that could be useful, I guess.
do you think would be simpler about the cut rate 300 model compared to the luxurious 360?
I mean, it might just be a Costco exclusive.
The 300 model didn't have the duct tape extra.
Okay.
This is amazingly mechanical, and I think I know how it works too.
You cut a hair. Okay. Yeah, go ahead.
I'm pretty sure that what the problem is that a seal is not in place, if anything.
And so it's like when it's upside down, it just kind of falls into place.
Exactly, it's we're providing enough of a seal because this is just an empty chamber. That's it. And so it has to pull air in from the bottom and push it out. And all the keys are doing here is, like you can see on the end of these, it's just lifting the area, opening up the...
So the fan is the actual only electric part in the whole thing.
yeah.
So if one had enough,
If you had a straw.
lung volume, you could just power it by blowing on it.
Yes, but you'd need to fill this entire cavity on the bottom.
Yeah.
I wonder if you need to fill the whole cavity, or what if you filled the cavity up with something else to provide less, like for there to be less air? Would that increase the amount of pressure? Or do you think this has been very calculated?
No, I don't think it's been calculated. I'm pretty sure it might have been calculated. I think if anything, what it would need is just some sealant. Or remember when I said I was missing screws?
Expanding foam.
Yeah, expanding foam would definitely be overkill.
A thing you could use, yes.
Yeah. Could it just be that the rubber has
Oh, the gaskets have.
that the like rubber
there
gaskets
isn't.
have just worn out?
There is no rubber gasket. It's just this trenched ridge around the edge.
Was there supposed to be a rubber gasket in there that's completely disintegrated?
Strangely, I don't think so.
Something along the edge
Yeah,
there.
it's all very clean inside.
It's just bits of
Chad suggests a leaf blower.
vacuum form
Yeah,
plastic.
yeah, hell, a leaf blower would definitely do the job.
Well, we do have one.
I could make this, at the very least, I could make this into an instrument it wasn't intended to be in the first place.
That sounds fun.
Duct tape, caulk,
What did you call me?
duct tape, caulk.
Yeah.
When it's upside down, the base is sealing. Like if you just like went all the
Yeah.
way around the outside with duct tape, but that like
Like that, it's essentially what would work. I'm just going to try screwing it, buttoning it back up.
I mean, I have gasket maker at home.
Yeah?
Just
when
squirt
it's,
that in.
when it's right side up, the base. The base hangs down because of the weight of the fan. Oh, I see.
Yeah, it would sag, right?
Which would then mean that, yeah, but the thing on top.
Being very careful not to strip the screws. But yeah, I think the fact that it's missing screws might indicate why it wasn't working.
Because the idea is that you want to seal it up so that the only place air can get out is through the reeds.
Yep. Like honestly, even some silicone caulk in the ridge would probably be enough to do it.
This is way better than it has been.
I honestly think that that someone got in here, tried to fix this, and stripped a bunch of the screw holes.
You know, people just aren't. They don't pay enough attention. You know, when you're trying to fix something, you got to be careful.
Oh yeah. Yeah, some of these holes the screws are just going straight into without even meeting up with anything. So let's see if this works at all.
All right. Well, we're going to call that done. We'll cut onions with it and see how that happens.
At the very least, what I can do is I can upgrade the morettes.
Don't you have to put that thing on the bottom again?
No, that thankfully is just there as a way of making sure insects don't get inside or children's hands.
Or adults trying to repair it hands?
All right, which of
Is it
these?
still plugged in?
No, it is not still plugged in. I would not be touching these wires this way if they were still plugged in.
All right. Third knife.
Still plugged in? Oh no, I just don't feel pain.
I mean, that's the thing for some people.
It's a
I'm
8-inch Henkel.
Ooh, das Henkel.
Das Henkel.
Need to be sharpened?
Yeah,
Is the
just a
question?
bit.
The question is whether the problem is that the fan isn't turning, or whether the air from the fan is not going in the right spot.
Yeah, and I'm pretty certain that the fan is turning, but we can double check that. Now,
Things I've learned about buying knives actually too is that this is if you look at the marks for the Henkel on here, J.A. Henkel's has a few different methods. I heard that. The hell was that?
you can hear this thing popping as it spins itself up.
So it's making a lot of pressure.
Yeah.
So can you feel leaks?
Oh yeah, just pushing up against the bottom immediately increases the volume.
Oh wow! So that's all it is. You just got to seal around the bottom.
Yeah.
Which means you need all those screws back in place.
I'm gonna need some new screws, I think.
Are you now putting your hand in the spot that you're not supposed to put your?
Not in the hole.
This is every piano man's favorite test.
Yeah, exactly. Oh wow, I could make it a Long Winters song. Or no, what? Not Long Winters. What's the name of that group? The
Harvey Danger.
Yeah, Harvey Danger.
The chat appreciates your what you were playing there, and by appreciates I mean they
Recognizes.
recognizes and are yelling at you.
Right. Okay. So the thing I learned about these, which I thought was really interesting, is that there's multiple ways. Like every knife maker has a bunch of different lines, right? So if you see a Henkel that has one man on it, that means that it's a consumer brand, like basically I don't know if you want to say like the budget brand or whatever, but let's see if we can get the picture of him on there.
Yeah, you can see that.
There we go. That's a little more clear. So you can see him there. It's just the one dude. But then they have their Zwei line, their twin line, which has two men. It has one like that and one that's kind of standing slightly like behind him, like half cut off kind of deal.
I will cut with two men.
And that's their higher spec line of knife.
It's like this knife is for one man to do cutting, to do cooking. These knives are for one man to kill another man.
Yes.
All right, well, that is really cool.
Yeah. I'm really happy you managed to get that.
Chat says do Fire in the Flames.
No, I can't do Fire in the Flames. I think I'm actually done. Well,
I mean, we
Oh,
have.
hey. No,
we
I
have
can do that.
a big screw bin. You could maybe see if any of those will fit.
well, I'm thinking, Beach, what I'd like to do is actually like to take this a step further than what I'm doing. I'm taking this apart right now because what I'll do for the rest of or the next little while, at least until the next break, is I think I might like to clean this thing.
That sounds good.
And so that's the keyboard assembly.
So
There you are. So that just pushing the keys lifts the air on each of these things, allowing air to escape and
blow through the reed.
blow through the reed. Nifty. What I'm thinking I'd like to do with this project is I'd like to make it a little bit better. So step one's going to be the cleaning it up a bit so it works well. But I bet that if I added a gate to it, even in the form of a sliding gate or maybe a rotary one or something, I could allow for a rudimentary volume
Oh, so you can
or
actually.
airiness to it. And then I'm also thinking it'd be kind of fun to actually just, attach a strap and make this into sort of the dumbest keytar.
Do you need an amp? No.
Essentially, it's like electric bagpipes, really.
It really is. So, Paul, if you wouldn't mind muting me, I'm just going to go grab a few paper towels and some water and then wipe some of this human mung off.
Alrighty.
Thank you.
Kitaru Man. Indeed.
So I am being very, very gentle with this knife because I don't want to rub all of its, I don't want to basically take away any of the edge that was still there. I probably, to sharpen this one, because it's in fairly good shape, I probably could have just, if I had like a whetstone or something, I could run it down that. I had tried using the steel to sharpen that knife. It doesn't do the kind of job I expected, so
This is
fine.
Is that your primary knife that you use in day-to-day kitchen use?
It is now, because it was the sharpest in the house. My primary knife was the machete.
I mean, it's one of the newest knives, which is why it's the sharpest.
Yeah, so this was like the newest knife or the machete's, I think, newer than that, but we never used it, so the machete got used up.
I bought that knife when I was in Grand Prairie.
Yeah. I got this one when I moved to Edmonton, eventually.
Time.
I think it was after we moved, I think it was around the time that we all moved into a big house together.
Oh, okay. So it's only about like 6 months ago.
Oh, okay, fair enough.
It's true. The organ actually looks really cool without the big beige shroud on top of it.
Yeah.
Will it work without the beige part on top,
Oh,
or is
yeah.
that integral to the thing?
No, it will 100% work without the beige top. And I guess if I can get it clean enough, that would look really cool. Of course, I could also. Ooh, hey, that's an idea. I could install an NES in here, paint the whole thing gray.
Can you make it work off of a portable battery supply instead of having to plug it in?
I mean, yeah, there's enough room in here for a small lead acid battery to sit right here.
So you're really just gonna go you go full retro.
Oh yeah. I mean, why go beige? It's a lot harder to install lithium-ion charging. Mm-hmm. You got circuits. Where's this? This is just this is a switch and a few wires and a fan. Mm-hmm. Besides, if you're playing for longer than a lead acid battery gives you, you're playing too long. Leave the party.
Oh yeah, this article that ArcLight Dynamo linked to about the Model 300 was a broken one, and he did indeed seal it all up with I believe with caulking, and it made it work great.
But yeah, I bet that a combination of caulking on the bottom and then like a sliding door or something like that would make for a good volume. I'm not even thinking just volume, but expression too. When you let it get wheezy.
I love the last paragraph of this teardown. It says, because I originally expected to find a lot of electronics to deal with in the guts of this thing, I was expecting to be pretty limited in the kind of hacking I could do. However, now seeing that A, how much stuff is there how much space there is internally, and B, understanding that I just need to keep airflow from the fan going properly, I'm overwhelmed with ideas for what I could add. Perhaps a capacitive sensor breakout that will trigger lights and blink as keys are played. A pressure sensor on a few keys that will determine motor speeds depending on the intensity of the user playing it. Hook it up to the internet, throw in a few solenoids, and create my very own player organ. The possibilities are endless. So clearly this is somebody after your own heart.
Yeah.
There's a level of perceived simplicity in analog hacks, isn't there?
Yes.
Yeah. Everything's a bit bigger, and you feel like I'm working with a clearer.
Well, I mean, you can see it. Like,
Yeah.
you can see,
Yeah.
okay, this goes from here, goes to here, goes to here. It won't just stop working because the magical fairies inside stop doing what they're supposed to be doing.
Exactly.
There's no black box going on.
Which plays an old electronic organ. That seems like a recipe for a broken organ.
It's just basically everything's down. It's just wow. It's just the Inception sound.
Oh, Hans Zimmer.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was reading an article the other day about composers for movies, and that if you ever see a credit for a score with additional music by name,
Yeah.
generally it's all of the work will have been done by the
Additional
music by, and they're just attaching the composer for star power. But the other side of that is Michael Giacchino, who did the Lost soundtrack and the music for the Star Trek films.
Right.
It's that very, very distinctive style. He has come out very much against this practice and has stated that he writes every note of the scores that you hear. Very specifically.
What? I know. Just speaking of credits, I've always wondered in movies and television shows and stuff when how the different levels of credit, like in the intro, they'll be like, starring this person, this person, this person, also appearing this person, and then this person as this character.
Like that, I always credit whenever I'm in charge of credits. I always credit Beej as with Brendan Deary as Beej.
Just in case there's no confusion.
But it's always just a nice way to end the credits too, because you got this person, and Brendan Deary as Beej.
And that is my understanding is that that is a very specific ask. Whenever an actor's
I'm
gonna
assuming
be in
it's some sort of negotiation on the part of their
Yeah.
agents or whatever.
because like in Mr. Belvedere, I think in the opening credits, all of the actors are mentioned. They go through all of them from like the dad, the mom, the kid, the whatever, and then it's and so as Mr. Belvedere as the title role, and it's like.
And Armin Shimmerman as Quark.
And I think that's the thing is it's like the
Well-
people who have like maybe the greatest star power, the greatest reach, or the better agent manages to negotiate a better position for themselves.
I mean, I used to think, or I think part of it is also like you'll get like whatever Quark and Odo and stuff like people who are wearing full face makeup that you can't recognize them.
Oh yeah,
Right.
yeah.
Oh,
Which is funny because Rene Auberjonois got that wrong.
I discovered something.
It just pops out. Or you can just replace the reeds.
Right?
You can just take that with you and don't have to use the goddamn organ. Blow through it. Just
That-
blow through the reed.
Like that's a harmonica is what you're holding basically.
It's an orc harmonica.
A backwards harmonica. They've got plenty of. Ooh, wow, that's deteriorated. I bet that was once foam. Yeah, I kind of want to take this to a car wash.
Working at the
Just give it a real spray down. And now that I know the only thing electronic in here is the fan, I'm kind of able to do that. Ooh.
I mean, yeah, just taking all like the reeds out, the reed assemblies out, and just being like, time for the pressure washer.
Yep. Just knowing that it will be clean then.
I am doing this very, very gingerly because I quite like this knife now, and I want to see it come through the gauntlet without me having screwed it up. But if I do, we have a house of knives in town, and 3 knives can get sharpened for $15.
We have a mid-knife crisis.
I mean, not yet I haven't. Though I did
That's
almost chip the damn thing, so...
horrifying. So, yeah, this is an interesting design. There's lots of room for other things that could happen here. Like, for example, we could put it back in its place like this. But then above here, mount a row of cherry keyboard switches pointed up. And so I could actually have a...
Percussion section! That was what you were going to say, right?
No,
Okay.
but a mechanical keyboard.
Oh, so as you're playing,
Yeah.
the switches would click, click, and you would have wires coming off of them, typing stuff in.
To do something else. I mean, maybe I could just actually hook those cherry switches up to a MIDI controller and have them
Oh, jeez.
a MIDI controlled
Yeah.
air organ. Sounds like the worst idea.
No, what you do is you hook it up, you get it all working, and then hook it up to a like a microphone with some software in it to recognize the sound patterns that's coming out, and then replay them as
MIDI.
As MIDI, yeah.
I mean, you mentioned hooked up to a microphone, and I'm instantly thinking, how can I hook a talk box up to this?
You could, well, if you sent out by MIDI, you could send it into, okay, maybe not a guitar pedal. You'd need like a multifunction pedal.
Actually, what I could do is put a small microphone up in
Yeah.
there, and then use that as an amplification vector, and make it work like just a regular electronic guitar.
I mean, there's going to be a lot
So
of...
there's a thing called the finale mic note, the finale mic notate, which is actually that. It's it's a microphone that you can record a piano into MIDI.
Oh, cool. The thing I'd be worried about is the constant hiss of the air. You'd have to windsock that microphone.
Now, what could also blow air? Oh, actually, you know what? Heather, you came up with the idea a long time ago. I could just make this into a bagpipe keyboard.
Yeah.
I was going to say maybe like a melodica, which is a big... But yeah, no, I like this idea.
PC cooling fan. Somebody's.
You've got reeds, you've got that. You hook a big bag up to it, you squeeze yourself.
Yeah, exactly. There's a
you just
lot.
keep blowing
There's a
into
lot
the
of space
bag.
that needs to be filled in here to make this thing work. So,
Bicycle inflator.
yeah. What do you call those things? Exercise bicycles?
Oh yeah,
the
with the big
fans in
fans
front,
on them. Yeah, we used to have one of those, and we got rid of it. Good for us.
Air compressor.
I mean, that's also the leaf blower.
Yeah,
idea.
that's
Yeah.
true. But the air compressors only go on when they're out of air.
God,
And that's when you know when the party's over.
I love the idea of a fan bike hooked up to this so that you have to pedal and do the thing. And while you're doing that, you're playing.
No, that's the virtuoso performer does the playing while his assistant
Right.
has to be like, "Can I stop now, sir?" No,
Oh man,
this is your apprenticeship.
Not until the third canto.
did you ever see that video of the marble machine?
Yes.
Yeah, I love that thing. That just get it rolling and crank it, and it just plays music. I'm like, yeah, that's great. Very Rube Goldberg feel.
Yeah,
How are we doing?
a little disappointed that there's not anything more I can do with this particular keyboard at the
Jesus
moment.
Christ.
That's interesting.
Oh, that feels a lot sharper than
Are
it
you
was.
are you getting to the end of your sharpening on that particular knife?
Yeah, this is our fourth step. If I wanted to go to my optional 30-degree back bevel, I could, but I think I'm just gonna hone it, and we'll probably call it. I think it'll be sharp enough.
Nice. Would you be interested in maybe putting a back bevel on one of the blades?
Ooh.
Or are you a little bit?
I mean, we'll have time to fill. But I can also move on to my paring knives. Is the thing. But I guess learning how to do it is not a bad idea. I could put the back bevel on my machete. Oh, damn.
Can you sharpen scissors
Yes.
with the same? Does it require a different whole thing? Or
Nope.
is it,
Same tool is my understanding.
you need to separate the two parts, though, wouldn't you?
Yeah. Well, you can. I think you can get the scissors in there. You just need to hold them carefully. There might be a small adjustment that needs to be made. I would.
I mean, I do have the giant 10 megabyte PDF
And scissors.
and scissors. So that's 2 of the 3 things I need to sharpen. I have the sharpener right here. I have all 3.
Well, go infinite.
For some reason, I kind of want a knife sharpener, like Wii controller, motion controller, and like whatever sharpening knives, cooking mama game.
It almost feels like this could be a level in 1-2 switch.
Yeah, it could be. Yeah,
Ready, set, sharp.
sharp.
I could go for a Cooking Mama Switch game. I bet there could be some interesting things done with that.
Cooking Mama would be a good franchise to bring back.
It's not gone. They've been making it on the 3DS for ages even.
Don't call it a comeback. She's been here for years.
He accidentally
She has a
begins
garden
cutting
now.
through reality, makes his knife too sharp.
Well, that would be great. I would have no problem cutting onions then.
If you should encounter an onion in the road, it would become cut.
This feels really, really good.
Is it getting nice and smooth?
I can feel like it feels like it just barely rubbing.
Ooh, okay. We said that we'd do this. Let's see what we can do about getting some nice knife sharpening noise.
Okay.
Here, I'll get this microphone.
Oh, the
put another-
SM58. Yeah.
Let's do this properly.
Actually, I'd like to do 2 experiments here in this case. One, we need to use the SM58. The second one, Beej, I'd like you to clip your lapel mic to the back of the knife.
We'll do one first, then the other?
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. I'll mute the other microphones.
You should now.
Okay, now it's gonna be just knife sharpening.
to be so careful not to cut your hand because I
I
have no
know.
idea where it is. Like, am I on top of it? Am I cutting through it?
It was real quiet. Can you do it again?
Real quiet.
I'm still muted, so I'm going to disconnect this for a second.
I'll go over here underneath the thing so you don't hurt me.
Ready?
Yes.
All right, we're gonna make a fortune off our ASMR videos.
Got.
Turn that
Now
back
let's
down.
try this, right? Are you gonna do yours?
I've got mine unhooked already. So.
Okay.
Which one is this?
I think he is on.
Ian's on 2, I think.
I think he's on
Grab
3.
the cord, I think, too.
I'll hold the cord steady. Okay.
Just double check that is actually the right microphone.
Test, test. Test, test. Test, test,
There we
test.
go, that one.
Ready? Is that gonna... That's...
Should be fine.
That shouldn't impact, eh? Good.
Yeah, this is that's good because it stays a constant distance away from the
Yeah, that
sound.
mic was
right?
definitely a lot better. I
Good
had to
idea.
Crank the gain so much up on the other one.
Yeah, yeah.
What a weird thing we've done.
What's great is that I'm sure that people were like sending out tweets like, "You gotta get in on this channel! Somebody's sharpening knives! It sounds awesome!"
All right, let's put.
No, please go on. Please,
I like that.
just put it on loop.
I like that. What is essentially the only thing that could inspire me to actually sharpen my knives in the first place is knowing that we could just goof around and do it for an audience. So I have to do all of my household chores here.
I like.
I have a stream at home in case you really want to sharpen knives on it.
It was interesting because we could hear it. You could hear it go like come down, go, and then get really quiet
Yeah.
when it was like when you were at the part of the knife that was already like really sharp.
Oh yeah.
So you could actually hear it go from the different parts of the knife.
Ooh, so maybe that's something to do in the future when you're sharpening is to mic yourself
Put
up.
the microphone, put my headphones on, and be like, "Where's the dullest? That's the dullest part of my
There
knife."
we go.
I mean, it did cut
Yeah.
some hairs off my arm, but it needed a little push.
Yeah, you can. I guess you could loop that if you really wanted to have it on all the time.
For anyone who absolutely needs to hear that all the time, you
10
have that
hours
option.
of amateur knife sharpening.
Why? Somehow amateur makes that
Yeah.
sound so much worse.
Yeah.
It's like amateur knife throwing.
I mean, that's one where you get pro real quick, or you just, or just kind of give up the hobby for
No,
unrelated
man, I do it
reasons.
for love of the game. Now get on the rotating wheel.
Why'd you stop knife throwing? I don't know. Got hit with a knife. Why'd you stop?
Throwing them?
Why'd you stop knife throwing? Murder. Well, I mean, manslaughter.
I mean, it wasn't really a slaughter,
Yeah.
like as such.
It turns out it's manslaughter when you didn't intend to do it.
Can you really be saying that you didn't intend to do it? I mean, you were throwing a knife at the person.
Did you intend to throw a knife at this guy? Yes, I did. Did you intend to hit him? No, I didn't.
I did not. Yeah.
Well, where does this fit on the scale?
Well, it's not perjury.
I'm gonna have to say it's fraud because you said you could throw a kniff without hitting somebody and you
Fraud
didn't.
Fraud does come before manslaughter in the dictionary, so they got to try that one first. That's why they call it a trial.
You don't want to end up in double jeopardy. Yeah.
This stream is not a legal no legal advice.
No.
No,
Should never take their stream as legal advice.
any of them.
I've never seen a degree on my wall.
There you go. Manslaughter through negligence.
Ooh, I like that one.
How negligent
Yeah, no,
would you be?
That's you. Negligence is generally you not doing something.
This is failure to miss.
Yeah, I'm just gonna have
Failure
this,
to tell the person to not be there because you're throwing a knife.
just gonna have this knife, and if it ends up throwing itself, nothing I did. Speaking of things that I didn't do, we're going to show you some commercials that I didn't make because it's that time in the show, and then we will be back for more. I don't know what, but it will be something, and you will watch it.
Turns out you're too accomplished.
Yeah, I didn't plan for this much success. Hey everyone, welcome back. We have literally combed the moon base looking for things we can fix or begin work on, and the answer is no.
Unless we
Unfortunately,
break some new stuff.
Everything at the moon base is far too broken for you, for you to fix in the time given.
either too broken to fix in the time given, not broken enough to need fixing,
Mm-hmm.
and
Fix that.
please don't break anything fully, Heather.
Just to fix things, yes.
And or has been disposed of because it was broken. But Beej did manage to, through the large PDF, find out how to sharpen scissors. So
Yeah.
we'll at least show you how to do that.
It's fascinating because you can use the white stones, but you're supposed to start obviously with the brown stones. And instead of putting them in here, that's what the Ethernet port is for, as I've discovered.
Kids, don't put sharpening stones in your Ethernet port.
So this is a 12.5-degree slot. Start with step 1 like you normally would. But the weird thing is
Do you not have to take them apart?
I'm just going to do it just to show. The weird thing is that you're supposed to go straight up and down and slide along, and I'm like, really? Like that's the angle? And if you look at it, it kind of does look like the angle
Yeah,
is really,
it
really
really
friggin'
does.
shallow. And that's what you're supposed to do is you would take these two things apart and you would drag it straight up and down this, because apparently scissor angles are really, it's kind of cool. I was like, I didn't know why that was there on the edge. And if you have left-handed scissors, you reverse the position of whatever and sharpen using your left hand.
Actually, yeah, it'd be good. I
Like so.
I think so. If you're trying to make that kind of contact.
Yeah, that sounds right.
that's like the ASMR's evil twin, is what that is.
And they do show that if you need to deburr, you can just take one of the honing stones and just hold it in your hand and just draw across on a sideways just to take the burrs off.
Yeah, maybe your hand should not be. Should be on the other side of the thing.
Of the safety rods. Oh, alternate scissors sharpening angle. You can draw them way open apparently and do it just as you're doing it, in fact. It's funny because hearing you do this, I'm like, oh, you're ruining my scissors. I don't know if you are. It sounds terrible.
Ooh, it feels good.
That's good.
That's a nice clean cut. You want to give that a try?
They're in very good shape.
Just a few strokes is enough to.
Oh wow, yeah, that's
Really
way
just
better than
send
it's
that
been.
I find that even just a short time on the rough stones is enough to bring things back to life.
Yeah, you get an edge back that was better than what you had.
Yeah.
Cool.
So there we go.
There was also just I guess an update on the current status of the Dreamcast.
Oh, the Dreamcast hasn't had much done to it recently.
Oh, dear.
Just because I've been very busy. But yeah, I'll give an update for that when it happens. Probably even just on Twitter. If you want to follow me at iHorner, that's where updates on the Dreamcast will go. Or obviously you'll see it on one of the streams because we'll play a Dreamcast game.
All right, you'll know the Dreamcast is working when the Dreamcast shows up.
When the Dreamcast is returned.
I love that this thing is like a transformer in that this is the other side.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. You're meant to do this with it as well as if you're doing like a straight razor, you would do it on here, acting as a whetstone.
Yeah.
It's very.
This is really cool.
It's
Very efficient. Yeah.
It's a very versatile piece of equipment.
And now I put it away and return it to you.
Thank you. And while you do that, I think it's time for us to welcome our sponsors. No, not our sponsors. Actually, before we even do that, do the welcoming, we should remind people that this Saturday is going to be Tabletop Day.
Oh yeah.
Or not even going to be, it is Tabletop Day, and we are
my
going to
God.
be participating in said day of the tabletop, which means we'll be playing a bevy of tabletop games, including, but not limited to, but probably limited to, Hero Quest, Crokinole, Betrayal of the House in the Hill, Jenga, The Red Dragon Inn, Nightmare 3, Spyfall, and Cards Against Humanity. So tune in starting at noon this Saturday, the 29th of April. For that, we'll all be playing.
All
And
day.
that will be replacing
Yes.
Loading Ready Live on that day, and also Adam's Game House. And also on Friday there will be no AFK because the next day is going to be all AFK.
That would be too much AFK.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We have to be in front of a keyboard.
Are we doing anything on Friday as a result, or is it is being?
The crapshoot will be on Friday.
Yes.
Friday evening, I believe there is currently no streams planned. I don't know if that will change. Keep an eye on various Twitters and things.
Yep. We will tell you if
We'll tell you if that changes.
Let's see as well. You can also go to Wormwood and use our code LRR for free shipping anywhere in the US, or LRR World for $10 off your shipping bill to anywhere else in the world, and check out some of their fine tabletop accessories if you want to play along at home. I'm sure there's not enough time to get your order in, but hey, for next time.
I mean, not with the free shipping. You maybe get overnight shipping. Who knows?
Oh, yeah.
Who knows?
That's up to you. And speaking of you, we'd like to thank you for watching today on this show, and
TV.
also those of you who chose to subscribe
Yeah.
at twitch.tv/loadingreadyrun, and also those of you who help us out at patreon.com/loadingreadyrun. Paul, who helped us out today?
Here are those people.
Yoshikatsu, who's a new subscriber. Thank you, Yoshikatsu.
JKM is a dentist for 4 months.
LifeX116 has subscribed for 5 months, saying Tinker Tailor solder fries, always such a good time. Thank you.
Railroad Tycoon 2 for 6 months. You have the knives to cut, but do you have the thread and needle to reattach? No. Heather does.
Dylan Nelson is a brand new Patreon subscriber.
Thank you,
Thank you so
Dylan.
much, Dylan.
Soviet U for 10 months.
Hulk Tori is a 10-month resubber. Still mad that Lesbian Bear Storm was depressing, not funny.
It's in the name. Zerg539 for 3 months. Thanks for the resub.
Pharmacist Judge for 26 months, saying, unless the device is safely related, safety first.
Lex Prod for 7 months. Stupid robot accordions putting manual accordions out of business. Makes a good point.
Yep. Kane SD is subscribed for 40 months.
Oh, wow. Welcome back.
Thank you.
Quack and Boost for 4 months. Welcome back to you, too.
Further welcomes to Chef Steven, who subscribed for 27 months. Thank you, Chef Steven.
LaShock for 7 months. Love supporting my favorite people on the internet.
You
Thank
are LaShock. And Jono, who's a new Patreon supporter. Thank you so much, Jono, for joining us. And thank you, CW3040, for those 100 bits. The bits to bits to bits.
I hope that was for a safety-related thing.
Yeah.
Or an unsafety-related thing.
So, yeah.
And also, of course, there was that poll that was going. What injury is most likely to occur on TTSF?
Oh, do tell.
Current 22% say Ian, just some of him. 14% says the knives are no longer dull. Are now no longer dull. They leave LRR and form their own comedy group, Serrated Ready Run.
All right.
Knives get a small cut. Knives get a small cut on the hand, forever giving Beige a taste for blood.
Yay!
Beige trips on a cord, falls to the floor, while knives land around him, perfectly outlining his head, but not hurting him, a la Looney Tunes.
That's a great idea.
Ian trips on a cord and falls on the floor with all the controllers landing around him, perfectly outlining his head, and not hurting him at all, a la Looney Tunes. 15% were going for the Beige surrounded by knives. Only 11% for Ian surrounded by controllers.
Still good choices.
Also 11% for once repaired, the controllers have a duel with the sharpened knife. May the best system win. And 9% said a knife snaps in half, the blade flying into a microphone, destroying the eardrums of all viewers wearing earphones.
Also,
We're probably the closest to that, actually.
Yeah, in actuality. Well, thank you so much, everyone, for watching tonight. It's been a blast. I can't believe we were successful in things in just one episode.
Yeah.
And thank you to Hostedro, who just subscribed as well, getting in under the wire. yeah, so thank you so much for watching. Next week will be Matters of Import, where we'll be playing God knows what.
It's to be Japanese, maybe.
Yeah, you'll find out.
I don't think it's Brazilian.
Probably not.
There's that game from Cameroon I keep wanting to play.
I would have believed that the game you were going to play was called God Knows What. That seems like a perfectly legitimate title.
Yeah,
God knows what, or as it was called in the original Japanese, Takeshi's Challenge. Thanks for joining us so much. We'll see you next time. Have a good night. Ever forward.
Never learning.